Hey guys, Mason the Brock Henderson here, and I'm gonna keep it a little bit quieter because it's late right now, so don't want to wake anybody else up. Um, but this is the Librarians, season 2, episode 1. Uh, got into the first season when it came on, saw the previews, wasn't really sure what to expect. But Christian Kane, I know who he is because of Leverage. I loved that show. When I saw he was in it, I got really excited. Um, and so I was really looking forward to it. And at first, it took a little bit to get into it. Um, it was good, but the action was really cheesy. The fight scenes, not only did they look choreographed, they were poorly choreographed. So it just looked so obvious to see punch, block, throw. And normally I would be just whatever, but because of how good TV shows have gotten recently with like Agents of Shield, with The Blacklist, with even simple shows like NCIS and Criminal Minds, where the action is mainly gunfights. Uh, the action scenes are always really well done, um, and even if they're not, they're still done well enough to where it's not distracting. But these were so bad that it was distracting. Um, but that was really my only complaint. Besides that, the story was very well done. Uh, it was a bit of a mystery. You weren't really sure what was going on. He knew there was an evil corporation going on behind the scenes, um, but each week, every different case that they got, you're just like, what's going on? Like, what does this have to do with anything? In the end, it all tied together. The whole story made sense, and it tied together. It simple cases that you didn't think anything of, they brought that back. Whatever magical item they found. Um, but anyway, so if you haven't seen the first season of Librarians, basically what the show is about is it's based off of these TV movies uh, called The Librarian. Um, the main character, his name is Flynn something. Flynn Carson Flynn? I can't remember now. But he was the librarian for a long time, and the library is where all of these magical items are stored, so magic doesn't get out into the world. And the library sent out these letters to 3 different people, um, inviting them to the library to become librarians. And this has never happened before. There's always been one librarian. And it also invited this woman named Eve. And she's a military woman. And she's supposed to be the guardian for these 3 librarians. You've got... I'm going to have to look it up so I don't mess up the names. Because if I mess up the names, I'm never going to forgive myself. I know... Okay, you got Ezekiel Jones. Uh, and he's pretty much just a thief, really good at breaking into, you know, breaking into things, stealing things, pickpocketing people. So he's the one that you send in to take out the security. Um, then you got Stone, Jake Stone, who is not only is he very well versed in other cultures, but he also can fight too. And that's Christian Kane. So I knew he could fight based on leverage, and I really wish they would have done better with his fight scene. Um, and then you got Cassandra, and she is a super genius. I love the animation when she does her, like the stuff in her mind, it's visualized in front of her, and she's like doing it all in her head. And I've seen that before on Sherlock. In the first in the first season, he does that. He's doing it all in his mind, and it's all right there in front of him. He's visualizing it. Um, and so those are the 3 librarians. You got the brawn, you got the brains, and then you got the skill, I guess, the sneaky aspect of it. And you got Eve Baird, and she is the also the brawn. She protects them. She's their guardian. And then on top of that, you've got Jenkins, and he's like the keeper of the library. He's the one that He knows all about the library. He gives them their case week after week. Flynn Carson. Flynn Carson is the original librarian, and like I said, it's based off of these TV movies, The Librarian, and it was the librarian and the something for the something. And that's kind of how they do this. It's the librarians and the whatever every week. And they actually had 2 episodes on tonight, but because it conflicted with The Walking Dead, I'm going to review the 2nd episode tomorrow. So this is just the 1st episode. It's the only one that I've seen. So this is The Librarians and the Drowned Book. And I gotta say, it really got me interested. Just to see where it's going. You got all of them being called to New York. All 3 librarians and Flynn and Eve, they all get called to New York. So they're all there together. But since the end of the last season, where they all kind of, the 3 kind of went together. They went on a mission together because they wanted to work together. They've all gone their separate ways since then, and you're not really sure why. And so, they've all got their different missions, so they all split up and just don't really do much talking. And so, as the episode goes on, they start to realize that they need each other's help. Stone comes in and needs Cassandra's knowledge on, the chess set that he's trying to find. Ezekiel comes in, he needs information on Italian stuff from Stone because he's trying to woo this Italian girl that he needs earrings from. And Cassandra, she ends up helping Ezekiel with the Italian girl. And so they start to ask that question, why did we split up again? And start to realize that because they're so different and because they each have different ideas of what they want to do, it clashes. Their personalities clash. Ezekiel he wants to be on his own. He doesn't want somebody telling him what to do because that's just his mindset. That is another thing that they didn't do that I wish they had done. Ezekiel hasn't had much of a character arc. He started off just this, I'm never going to be good. I do things for me. I'm selfish and I accept it. I'm a bad good guy, and that's just how it is. And he hasn't really grown. Throughout the whole first season, he ended how he started. He's still a thief. He's just doing the right, he's like Robin Hood. He's stealing for the right reasons. And so he didn't really change a whole lot. And so that he's still that mindset, and I hope maybe he'll change a bit this season, but we'll see. But what they're setting up for this season is a wizard from one of Shakespeare's plays. I'm gonna have to look that up too, because I completely forgot. It's some confusing name, so it's not. This one is not me being completely forgetful and just brain scramble. This is like, he actually has a hard name to pronounce. Where is he? They're really not. It's not here. Really? Gonna do this to me? One sec. I'll keep talking while I'm looking. It's this wizard from one of Shakespeare's works, and he's basically collecting all of these items from his story to make himself a more powerful wizard, because he's confined to the book's realm, the book's story. So he can't go outside of that, so he gets all these items that makes him more powerful, and now he's able to kind of break out from his story. And on top of that, using his magic, he breaks out Moriarty from the Sherlock Holmes book. And I have a problem with this, mainly because I've said this before, if you have a mystery, keep that mystery. You don't have to reveal everything so soon. I think I said in Supergirl review, the enemy turns out to be her aunt, and they reveal that in the very first episode. And it's like, you could have kept that a mystery. You could have kept us guessing. Who is this mysterious woman? But no, Prospero. Boom, I know I'd find it. But he's a wizard from Shakespeare's work. But they're kind of making it seem like this guy is Sherlock Holmes. He says elementary. He deduces several things based on small little clues. And so you're like, it's Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes. And then as soon as Flynn thinks it's Sherlock Holmes, Eve comes in with all this information that, he masterminded everything. And he's just like, name's James Moriarty. And you're just like, that could have been kept a secret. You could have held on to that for a couple more episodes at least. But they just threw it right out in the open first episode, so kind of disappointed with that. Not that that's terrible, but it feels like a waste. Anyway, Prospero and Moriarty are working together to get all of this artifact so Prospero can, become more powerful, and he does, and he ends up calling, I don't know the story of Prospero very well. I'm not really well read in Shakespeare, but he has like a companion that's, I don't even know what to call it, kind of like a summoned creature type thing. It's, like really powerful. So he has the power to summon that creature, and the creature opens up a portal for him to escape with Moriarty. And it ends with the librarians having to work together to kind of stop this hurricane that is now plaguing New York. And so they end up using a sun that's just in the library because it's the library. But they use sun's light to kind of, the heat of it to disperse the hurricane. So that's how that episode ends, and like I said, have a second episode. Haven't watched it, but I'll get to it. But as far as an opening, I am curious to see what Prospero's ultimate goal is, what he plans to do from here. Where the first season was very much, the whole goal of it was get back the library, and fighting against this evil organization. This one's left a lot open, and that can be a good thing because who knows where it can go. A lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue, a lot of what's going to happen next. But it also leaves it open to, now you don't every episode doesn't have to be connected, and that was one of the great things about the first season is that everything connected together. In this one, they might just throw a few episodes in just for the heck of it. So, I'll see where it goes from here. But at this point, I'm intrigued. I'm curious. A bit disappointed about Moriarty being revealed so soon. But I am genuinely excited for this season and where it's going to go. And the action's gotten a bit better too. I will point that out because I picked on it a bit earlier. It started getting better near the end of last season, where at the beginning it felt like they were afraid to show any blood whatsoever. It felt like they were afraid to do any heavy action. It was all just light, and near the end of the season it got a bit more serious. And this one also, a lot of jokes, a lot of, it felt very light, not very dark. But, it does feel a bit better as far as the action. But other than that, good starting episode for the season. Not really connected to the first season, so if you haven't seen the first season, you won't be too lost. Just you won't know the characters as well, so that is a plus side, I guess. They wanted to just get more viewership. But that's about it for this review, so see you guys in the next one. Peace out.